I'd like to welcome you to Environmental Science 1402 online course. This is a continuation of the Environmental Science 1401, but if you have not had that course, it is very useful to have had biology in high school or at the college level. What we're going to do in this class, we're going to be looking at a lot of major issues and be discussing a lot of issues in environmental science. So the big point of this course is how do we make environmental decisions? And we're going to be particularly interested in looking at opposing views and critiquing opposing views. We're going to learn that in environmental science is that there really are no extreme ideologies. We're going to learn that we have to come to what's called a sustainable conclusion and resolve issues in a way that is equitable for all. And if you had Environmental Science 1 last semester, you'll learn that we covered a topic called this in a topic called environmental justice. So we're also going to look at how our decisions impact the environment. For example, in this picture, you can look at the development of a green building. We're going to look at, what is the impact of that on our daily lives, the costs, who do these type of decisions to build these type of cities or sustainable designs impact. So we're going to be debating, as you'll see in the syllabus, pretty regularly and look at the impacts of sometimes simple, sometimes very complex decisions. So in general, when we look at the limitations of decisions we make, we're going to see, and if you haven't learned this already, is that we are using what we call non-renewable resources as if they're renewable. That means as if we can replace them rather rapidly, and we're using it at a faster pace, literally every generation. And we're going to see too that our population is growing right now what we call uncontrollably. That means what we call exponentially, that you might have learned in Environmental 1 or in another biology course that you're taking. So the big problem is when we make decisions, we're generally going to make these decisions based on resource usage. And as societies develop, we're going to see that our resource usage tends to goes up over time. Another thing about this course, when we start looking at the whole idea of what is environmental science, and again, we covered this in Environmental Science 1401, is that environmental science itself is a science. When we look at what's involved in it, is not just doing science. It's looking at anthropology, history, economics, ethics, what's called basic ecology, oceanography, geology. So it's going to take in almost every other science discipline and even other disciplines like law, political science, and other aspects. So every time we make a decision, we're going to learn that there has to be a scientific basis to it, which varies, we're going to see, from country to country and from politician to politician and society to society, just how much they value the science and what degree of science they want, in their decision making. So let us first go through the syllabus before we look at how to navigate the D2L website. And hopefully all of you are familiar with D2L and already received my email about going to the website once it's activated for the semester. So I'm Dr. Shmaefsky. I go by Dr. S. It's just easier to pronounce. I could go into the whole long thing about the pronunciation of my name. But my office, if you ever come up to campus, is in SIB 202. The classroom is typically SIB 108 if you're looking for me on campus. We're going to have two books in this class. One you're going to purchase and you need to have. This is required. You can probably get it new or used. You can get it from the bookstore or on Amazon. It's called Taking Sides, Clashing Views on Environmental Science, and it's not an expensive book. It's probably about 1/4 the price of a regular textbook. But it is important in looking at the debates that I'll be assigning you, and you'll be making recorded videos of yourself and debating with the rest of the class. The other book is free. Whoopee! It's online, and it's an environmental biology book, but I'm going to provide the link for in D2L, or you can download yourself and have a PDF copy of the book. It gives you the basics of environmental science from the perspective of biology, and pretty much it's like the textbook we use in environmental science 1401 101, except it's a little more biology based and science based, which is important for this class. When we look at evaluation, this is going to be very important for us because evaluation will be timed. That means I do need particularly videos in at a particular time so we can debate ourselves. So when I assign materials at the beginning of the week, it's almost always going to be due at the end of the week unless it's a prolonged or a group assignment. So we're going to try to work in groups as best we can through D2L or through any other way you want to communicate, through phone apps or whatever. But we're also going to have individual assignments too. So we're looking at group assignments, an experiment, which I'm going to show you what type of experiments we'll do. You'll have 4 what I call just take-home lecture tests, which will be based on content out of the online textbook and also out of your debate book. We do have a service project coming up, and also we'll be doing a virtual service project too to go along with some other projects that my other classes are doing. I will look at your online attendance and whether you're checking out assignments or reading the short lecture videos. And then we will have a comprehensive essay-based final. Altogether, you'll be looking at 1,000 points. And I will be posting grades on D2L. Now, the number grade might not affect your letter grade. I will have to give you an interpretation of it, of what your grade would be based on the point we're at in the semester, how many assignments we've done, and just the what I'm going to call the rolling average that adds up to about 1,000 points. I please want you to look at the syllabus and pay attention to the weekly guidelines. So the first week, we're just going to be basically getting ourselves introduced to the class. There's going to be a short YouTube to look at, and I'm going to just post our first assignment on how do we address and deal with environmental issues and how we do proper debate. Because it'll be very important that we debate in a realistic manner, an honest manner, an equitable manner, and do it being conscious of other people's feelings and backgrounds, and not be like we see in the political arena or even just in the news today. We're then going to look at environmental philosophy and look at some case studies that require environmental philosophy decisions, and then look at political decisions, and then look at energy issues and how do we debate and look at energy issues, food and population, and then spend a couple of units on hazardous materials. In the meantime, what we're going to have is have to be arranged assignments that I will post. Usually it's going to be a video that you're going to debate, and we're also going to have a special project that varies in this syllabus. It just says art gallery, which one of my classes will be working on, but we will be assisting with somewhat that's related to the art gallery and somewhat related to a research project in my other class. So depending on what section you're in of my online class, you'll be doing 2 things from home or 1 project from home that assists my other students in a face-to-face class. So please be aware and keep up weekly what we're doing in class. And please, if you have to save, the syllabus to a PDF on your phone, on your laptop, or whatever, or keep a hard copy around in a notebook. So the important thing for navigating this class is to pay attention to, first of all, your section number of course assignments. So this is what our home page looks like for ENVR 1402, and typically what you're going to do, you have a different window than mine, so yours is not going to have a course management section, but you're going to have to pay attention to the content section, the grades. I'm going to be posting course activities with drop boxes to place your assignments. We might do debates depending on what resources I want to use in D2L. For collaboration, I will be communicating with you through D2L email. So I'm going to say over and over again in this, and send you reminders to check your D2L. And I will post calendar notifications as I post an assignment with the start date and the deadlines. And if you have any issues with D2L, please, we do have what's called VTAC support for students, and there's videos, and you can chat with someone from the Office of Technology Services to help you along with passwords or class access. And please pay attention to emails too that tell you whether D2L or the email is being maintained. And we, unfortunately, our system receives a lot of hacks, and sometimes we have to take the system down and repair it. The first part of our class will be you introducing yourself, and you're going to be using a video system called Flipgrid that I have an account with. And Flipgrid is, you could do it from your phone or from any type of personal computer, and you can basically video yourself doing anywhere from a 30-second to 5-minute debate, depending on what I assign. So we're going to use Flipgrid a lot for all our debates. So you're going to be giving pro and cons of an issue that's in our taking sides book, or you're going to take one side and support that particular side, and please feel free to debate other students and make comments on their debates, and you'll be graded on the Flipgrids, and each Flipgrid should have a point where you can see your grade for content and also for the quality of the video and your presentation. So please introduce yourself by looking at the Flipgrid assignment, which is going to be under your content section in a drop-down window of D2L. And speaking about the drop-down window and about D2L, check your D2L email daily. I will email you frequently on D2L, and please reply to me on D2L the best as you can. Also check your D2L content for our homepage regularly, at least the beginning of each week. I will post something probably on Sunday night, a particular type of activity to start on the Monday of that week, unless it's a holiday. Kind of like we don't really have holidays in the online class in a way. Also check for due dates that I post, and you'll notice the due dates will be on your D2L. So please pay attention to the drop-down window under the table of contents. So already you can see here is the D2L information, okay, is going to be posted. I will post a D2L video introduction. Lectures, video lectures will go here, as well as your Flipgrids assignments. And you can see here, there's the links to your online book. We don't really have PowerPoints to go with here, so I won't be posting those. And there you can see already is your Flipgrid introduction for the class. So please complete that. The due date for that is, the middle of the week, so we can see those and I can have those evaluated and looked through by the end of the week. Your grades will be posted on D2L, and this is what I see as a faculty member. I do not know what students see, but as your grades get posted, you'll see your grades are passed here. Everything's going to be out of 100 points, and all these points are going to be categorized into lecture tests, into debates. You're going to see other assignments, like we're going to be on a website called iNaturalist, and we're going to look, also critique videos and do other types of hand-in assignments that will eventually, all those categories will add up to 1,000 points based on your percentages for these exams. You can see here we're going to have 4 at-home test grades, and then a final, which is going to be equivalent to basically 2 tests. So it is important, again, to complete these assignments on time. And I don't want to have to lock you out of an assignment. So I'm going to keep it open, but I will be taking off points for late tests and assignments, because it really does affect the grading for other students when your assignments are late. So as we navigate the class, what is Flipgrid? I'm going to send you links to Flipgrid, and you're going to see an opening window, for example, for our class introduction, where you're going to introduce yourself and answer a couple of questions about yourself. You'll see my introductory video there. So that's going to be your window. And what you're going to see usually is I'm going to post some type of introductory picture or a video, and then instructions, and sometimes a link, and sometimes a document to go along with a reply that you're going to make. So once you enter a code that I will send you, you will come to the opening window I showed before, and then you're going to see below that this window, and with instructions. And then what you will do is click on here and start your video, your Flipgrid video. And generally what I'll give you will be anywhere from 3 to 5 minutes to make your point. Some students try to cheat the system, and what they'll do is make 2 videos, that, a part 1 and a part 2, and that's fine, but I prefer that you keep your debates short and to the point. It's really interesting when we do scientific papers, when I give presentations, generally we have no more than 15 minutes and sometimes 10 minutes with 5 minutes of questions to talk about projects that we might have worked on for years, or research that is very complex. So it's important to be precise and get to your points, and really talk about the major issues of what you're doing. What I tend to do when I'm going to give a debate is I keep bullet points of my talking points in the order I want to discuss them, and that helps you to streamline the video. But that's what the Flipgrid is going to look like. And I just happen to use studio software. I have a recording studio at home with green screen and face rig and other animation software, and I'll be taking advantage of that. I don't care what yours looks like, but if you're going to video yourself, please make sure you're fully dressed and that there's not too many distractions in your room, or you're in a quiet area. I don't mind the barking of a dog or another pet, but please try to make your videos in a quiet area so that the recording comes out clear for all of us. Next, I'm going to be assigning an iNaturalist project, and this is going to help us with some Earth Day work we're doing on campus, and also with some campus cleanup. So with iNaturalist, I'm going to be asking you as a class, and you're going to get more details about this, to identify plants in our area, and you're going to learn how to use iNaturalist. I'm going to give you instructions on that in a video, but you're going to be looking up plants in our area and researching them that are noted for being able to clean up pollution from soil. So we have an ongoing project I started with grant money, and I actually just edited a book on that is in press and will be eventually published soon, about a topic called phytoremediation. That means using plants to clean up pollution in place of using very expensive and difficult to use technologies. So this is phytoremediation is applicable to our country, but mostly important in third world countries that don't have the money and the expensive equipment to clean up pollution. And this is also true for even in our country, where we have places like native reservations, we'll discuss this, and inner city areas that cities cannot clean up or do not clean up those environments. So we can teach community people to do that by growing plants and planting certain plants that can remove pollutants. So my classes over the years will be running tests and working with the city of Houston on seeing how plants remove different pollutants over time from soil. And then I'm going to have other classes identify plants and where to find them in our area using a research software called iNaturalist. So you might want to become familiar with that. It's an app you can put on your phone, and the app also works on laptops. Usually it's more comprehensive to use it on a laptop. It's a little difficult to do it on a phone. This is going to be one of our iNaturalist projects. So if you do download the iNaturalist app, look for phytoremediation environmental science, or ENVR 1402, and what you're going to do is ask me for permission. You're going to send a little join permission to get into the group, and I will then capture your email and use that as a way to give you permission to post on the iNaturalist website. And again, this is what researchers do. I use it to look for plants in areas I'm going to, or to see if there's certain areas contain a plant that I'm interested in. We use it not just for plants, but also for animals. I'm sure you can use it for rocks or anything, and even soil types. Okay, another potential project we could work on in class, and believe me, there'll be a lot of time for you to work on this. We'll have some downtime, is on Flickr. And I'm kind of new to Flickr, so you got to be patient with me on how to get you guys to post. And if any of you are familiar with Flickr, I might call you to walk me through it as we're doing this, but I have a project called Litter Project Misplaced Trash Expose, and this is a project that I like to record litter in the areas that you live or areas that you travel and just make a photographic database of litter and then try to geotag those photos or make comments on those photos. We also have the potential of setting up like a little comment section on Flickr. So this is something I'd like to experiment with and just again get people an awareness of trash. And I'd like to use this project again to show the public about what my students find about trash in their areas on our campus or areas that they visit. So, you have your remarkable devices that are supposed to be phones but act like cameras, mini computers, and whatever else. So this is also going to be a potential project to work on. We may or might not doing on it depending on your class section. And we might also use the Flickr account for an art exhibit project we're doing this summer in the Lone Star College Kingwood Art Gallery. So before I end this, I'd just like you to look at sample issues because this is going to be a debate-based class. And I want you to walk out of here being able to respectfully and logically debate an issue, particularly taking sides that you might not want to take and learning how to take the opposite side of an issue and argue it in order for you to understand how to think literally from another person's perspective. I don't want us being like politicians. Now, some are good debaters, some are bad debaters. We're not there to humiliate people. We're not there just to sound great or to look good. Okay, what we're going to be doing is looking at how do we solve problems? How do we make environmental issues and decisions that are going to work for us in the future and are sustainable and are equitable for all people? And how do we make compromises on these decisions to allow equitability? So some sample issues we could worry about, and I'm not picking any particular news source or any feature, whatever. I just pick some past news just for the heck of it. So one issue could be, why worry about global warming? Are we really seeing rising in sea temperatures? Blah, blah, blah. So we can look at issues like this. We could look at issues about pipeline spills, and they don't just occur in America. Believe me, they occur in every country that pumps oil or transports some type of resource. And why do we have these things? Why do we have spills? Why do we have to pump the stuff? And what if we didn't? What if we banned pipelines? We try to do that in the United States and abroad. So we're going to look at the pros and cons on this and even look at what's called acceptable risks. Are there really that many pipeline spills that is creating a major problem? And what do we have available to us to remediate spills, like, for example, using plants in the area to clean up a spill as a spill occurs? And this is part of a book I edited looking at how different countries approaches, particularly developing nations, on reducing spills or catching spills as they occur or cleaning up spills, everything from petrol to radioactive material contamination. And lastly, we're going to argue too about the health effects of daily life. And this is why I want us to understand pollution and seeing pollution and looking at where it is and how prevalent it is, particularly through photography, where we record this and see this. And so, how do we look at a study? Is it significant? And if cancer, let's say in this article, affects animals, does it affect humans? So we're going to look at all sorts of issues. And guys, and this is actually showing some very good websites of particularly very good websites. You see, Environmental News Network. This tends to be a little green, but it also brings out issues that are very important. It's an older website, so that has been very instrumental in environmental advocacy. So I'm going to pick various sources that are either going to be what we call very left or very right on interpreting environmental issues, and then we're going to debate that view. So I guess that's it, and I'd like to call this the end. Thank you.